Have you ever played a chess game in your dream? And did it last for 19 moves and end in a beautiful checkmate? Why is this question relevant? I was reading a scientific article recently and I witnessed a game that was allegedly played by Bronstein against himself. It's called Bronstein's Dream Game. It's on chessgames.com. I will post a link to you over here. But the debate was this. One author said you cannot really play a chess game against yourself because you always need this uncertainty inherent in the game, right? You don't know what the opponent will do, and the claim was that that's actually an integral part of chess. If you don't have that, then you cannot play a chess game, real chess game. But the counter argument, the author said, hey, look at Bronstein. Apparently he played this beautiful dream game against himself, and it's actually possible to play a chess game against oneself. That was the claim, right? And of course, I got curious. What is this dream game that they're talking about? And then I found the game, and I will show you that game today, folks. So let's look at the game itself before I reveal the true story behind it. Bronstein was a great genius, obviously, and he came up with this idea in this opening. So Bronstein against Bronstein. Let's put it this way. Let's imagine, let's believe the true story that Bronstein one night he was sleeping and he saw this entire game in his sleep. It's a beautiful game, folks. It starts from Nimzo Indian and then we transpose into the system with Queen e7. I will show you this phase very quickly. d6, Queen a4 check. It looks like, at first sight, Black is lost, right? Because it looks like our knight will be trapped. It will just capture on the next move. So what was Bronstein counting on? Is he blundering in his dream? No, he sees further. Takes, and then can you guess Black's next move, folks? You can already stop the video here and find the fireworks are starting slowly. What did Bronstein dream in his sleep here? Queen e4, beautiful move. What's the point? Obviously, if you take my knight, then comes this little check, uncovering an attack against your queen, and Black wins a piece, right? So here, by going Queen e4, after cd, by going Queen e4, Black is keeping a piece. Well, I'm pinning the knight, putting pressure here, already threatening to take on c3, followed by Queen a4, a multi-purpose move. Okay, the dream continues. White goes knight e2, Bronstein takes on h4, and White takes the knight on c6. The material is actually equal, but after castle short, it turns out, you can already see it, Black is much better developed, while the White king is stuck in the center. White has small issues in this position. a3. Bronstein's dream continues with knight g4. Was such a great dynamic player, right? Active defense. He's going for a counter-attack instead of reacting against the threat on the bishop. g3, Queen f6, bam! Again, there are so many threats on the board. A takes b4 happens in the game. Knight de4 is replied by this and Queen e5. And again, Black keeps good pieces. Well, we didn't even sacrifice anything. And the White king is still in the center. And Black is better in this position. After Queen f6, White, well, Bronstein with white pieces take on b4. And this is the game continuation, the dream. Here, folks, after King d1, I want you to stop the video, please. This is a beautiful moment. And Bronstein missed a great move in this position in his dream. Well, we cannot really blame him, perhaps. But what should Black do? Give yourself maybe 8 to 10 minutes here. That's a beautiful position to contemplate. Calculation exercise for you. And you can already come up with an idea for Black. Well, first I will show you the real game continuation. Bronstein in his dream goes knight e3. And after king c1, he goes b5 in this position. Okay? But taking a step back, folks. Taking a step back. In this position, b5 directly was winning. Why? Because White king is about to get mated as a result of this series of moves, correct? Knight e3 check, king c1, queen e1 is almost mate, except that the White knight will cover on d1, but it needs the queen's support. So by going b5, we are distracting those two pieces that are actually stopping the mate. That b5 is also a beautiful tactic, highlighting overworked pieces, right? Both the knight and the queen are overworked against this threat of mate in 3. So by going b5, you're distracting them. After queen takes b5 comes beautiful mate on the board, right? Bam, that's a beautiful mate. And after b5, if knight takes on b5, then nothing changes. Queen e1 check, followed by queen takes d1. Isn't it beautiful? Two short lines and black wins after, of course, after queen b3 comes bishop e6 tempo, and the queen is still terribly stuck. She needs to keep an eye on the d1 square, and after, let's say, queen a3, we follow it up with the same idea, right? It's a beautiful tactic which was missed by Bronstein. It's a move order trick, by the way. So Bronstein in his dream starts with knight a3 first, but that makes a huge difference because after b5, the dream continues. Can you find the only resource for white in this position? The amazing move that turns the tables. How can white turn the tables in this position? It's a beautiful position, folks. Take your time. Congratulations if you found the beautiful knight retreat, knight d1. An amazingly strong move, hitting the queen, hitting the knight, and not giving black any chance to execute the mate, which happened in the actual game. Knight d1, obviously if you take that knight, then the queen survives, and if you take my queen, then I take your queen and white just wins. Otherwise, after queen e1, right, then I can go queen b3, and I can hit. I'm hitting your knight on e3, thus there is no bishop e6 tempo, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful defensive retreat, but what are the chances for anyone to see a knight retreat in a dream, right? It's difficult. In general, knight retreats are difficult to find. In a dream, it's move 16, right? We should give Bronstein some credit that he didn't see this resource for the opponent or for himself because he was playing with both colors in his dream, right? So he got queen b3 and comes to b6 tempo, right? Beautiful development with tempo. And now, can you find nice finish? Obviously, queen e1 check followed by queen takes d1, and black wins the game. So this was attributed to Bronstein's dream. People claim that this was actually his dream one night he saw without any context, but now we are coming to this beautiful story. Now we come to the true story behind this dream. Edward Winter, a great chess historian, in his website, he writes about this game. Bronstein wrote a beautiful book, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. And in that book, in one of the notes, he mentions that one day he was preparing how to play against Korchnoi with the black pieces. It was 1960. And he knew that Korchnoi was going for this line. And he wanted to choose this line with d6 in this position, right? So his plan was to go for this d6 line against this setup. And then Bronstein says he starts fantasizing. And his fantasy lasted for the entire game, as we just seen, right? 19 moves of fantasy, and black won in Bronstein's fantasy. After the game, he gave a lecture on Chigorin Chess Club where he mentioned this fantasy, and only after years he heard from several books that this was actually Bronstein's dream, right? So it's like gossip. People talk to each other and then somehow that fantasy turns into a dream, and now this game is registered everywhere as Bronstein's dream game that he dreamed one night. He plays against himself, right? It's an incredible fantasy though, right? Like imagine it's a pre-computer era. Imagine that you're preparing this line against Korchnoi, and suddenly, right, you start fantasizing a 19-move deep line. This shows us that Bronstein had great imagination. He was such a great player with really fantastic skills when it comes to his fantasy and so on. So it's not a surprise that his fantasies could last even as long as 19 moves deep. And he was coming up with all the beautiful tactical ideas like this, obviously, right, to actually support his opening. But even all the way to the very end, finding all these ideas in preparation of a Korchnoi game, and all these beautiful motifs of, overworked pieces, p5 ideas, and so on, it's an incredible feat, right? So no matter what the source, it could be fantasy, it could be a dream, he still left us with this beautiful analysis of this setup in the Nimzo Indian defense. And we cannot really blame him that he's missing this amazingly beautiful knight retreat in his dream that says white, right? So we should give him some credit. And the funny comment on chessgames.com was that, Bronstein is playing better chess in his dream than I'm playing in real life, right? So it also left us with so many nice and humorous comments like this. My final question to you folks is that have you ever played a chess game in your dream and do you recall it? Can you please post it on YouTube? What kind of chess dreams do you have? Is it like particular combinations or maybe victories, gaining championships? Please tell me more about your chess dreams. Is it possible to play a chess game against oneself? Have you ever tried it? And let's discuss these topics a little bit in this channel as we move forward. I hope you enjoyed this dream session, and I will catch you with more psychological treatments of chess very, very soon. And if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe so we can reach more people, and I will catch you very, very soon, folks. Thank you.